Prom Girl, where we talk all things sports, entertainment, fashion, and adventure. Our guest today is an actor who performed on Broadway before turning her attention to television, where she has worked on hit shows such as Major Crimes, Walker, Black Lightning, The Rookie, and more. Raised on a farm in Katy, Texas, she grew up dancing and competing in gymnastics. Now, she brings that athleticism and competitive nature to her roles, performing her own stunts whenever she can. Welcome to the show, Kieran Giovanni.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I appreciate it.
I'm excited to chat with you. It's I feel like since COVID and everything, it's been a while, but I'm excited to talk to you about everything that's going on.
Yeah, well, let's get to it. Well, let's talk about what's going on right now, because right now you're on Walker, and that show's just about to have its series finale coming up. So what's it been like working on that show?
It's been so fun, I have to say. It shoots in Austin, and I'm from Katy, so actually, when I go back, I get to go home and see my family. I'll take like a drive over, but we're out on a ranch in the middle of nowhere. Austin's a great city. Everyone is so lovely. And it's just been really fun. Yeah, it kind of started as like a little thing here and there. I'd kind of pop in, and then I just got lucky in these last couple of episodes, for sure, the last 4 or 5. Our relationship has really been established a lot more. I don't know if you've seen the show, but we are divorced, but we are in the process of rekindling our relationship. So we have a wonderful son on the show, and it's just been really fun. I'm having a blast.
What has been different for you, or even the same, playing this role versus some of the others that you played before?
Well, I'm not to say I'm old, but I'm older now. Things start to shift. You start to see like you're going in for different things. Before, obviously Major Crimes, I was very, I had a gun in my hand all the time, and I was running after suspects, and then that morphed into Black Lightning, which was a lot of stunts and things. And I found now that I'm a little bit older, I think I always say it's in a funny way, I get to play just a person. I'm like, oh, I'm just a person. Look at me. I'm going to wear pants today and carry a purse. Like those things have changed a little bit. And so it's actually been really nice to find nuance in just someone who is surface is the wrong word. It's just someone's emotional day to day. It's someone's real life. The stakes are a different kind of high. It's really more of just their emotional connection. Those are the stakes. And it's been really fun. It's been fun to wear pretty clothes and and have kind of an emotional connection with another person on the show.
Yeah. So preparation wise, how is that different? Because obviously it's not as physical as your other ones. Like, how has your preparation been for this role?
Honestly, Kobe is such an amazing actor, and he's so giving. And our kind of preparation is just that we banter and we joke and we chat on the phone, and we kind of make sure that we have that relationship outside of work. And we make fun of each other, we pick on each other, we definitely have that relationship outside of work that we kind of have on screen, and it makes it so much easier because we're really allowed to we improv a ton. I mean, some of the stuff at the ends or beginning of scenes is just us just messing around, just saying whatever we want. And not every show lets you do that. Some shows are like word for word, do not add, it is and not the. And the show is like, we don't care, just get to the like gist of it, and we're fine with that. And with Jared being one of the producers as well, he is very much like, guys, it's not rocket science here. We want to make sure that the audience understands and gets the feeling across. But just if it feels right to say something here, go for it. So it's been really fun, really fun.
Being in Austin, I absolutely love that city. Have you, are there some spots that you love or some places that you would recommend for people going to Austin?
Okay, here's the thing about traveling by yourself. I do have some friends in Austin, so I see them as well. But like all I do is eat. All I do is eat, girl. I am like, weirdly enough, Austin has some of the best sushi. They have Uchiko, Sho. They've got like all these random sushi restaurants that are actually like delicious, like really amazing. I've done the barbecue there is wonderful. There is a beautiful proper hotel that's there that's gorgeous. So yeah, I eat a lot. when I'm in Austin.
Have you gotten to visit any of the lakes out there?
I haven't. I did kayak canoe down the waterway there, and we biked one day, and I kind of just took a run over there. It's just, you would not expect Austin to have so much just beautiful outdoor space. I mean, I'm from Texas, and Katy is like just, it's like fields and flat. And Austin, especially like hill country and up near Dripping Springs and stuff, it's really beautiful. It's a beautiful place.
Let's talk about, since you brought up Katy, kind of growing up and how were into gymnastics and dance, and how that kind of shaped your journey and where you went.
Yeah, so I was born in Louisiana, and that's where our farm is, and it's still there. And it sounds like Little House on the Prairie. My grandparents lived in one house, and then we all had houses that we eventually all built kind of around on the property. And there were horses and pigs and chickens and goats and all kinds of stuff. And we moved when I was about 8, and I had done a little bit of gymnastics in Oklahoma. We made like a pit stop there for my dad's work, and then we moved to Texas, and I continued my competitive gymnastics, but I got to a point where I was just about 14, and it's a lot. Gymnastics is a lot. You're getting up, if you're doing elite gymnastics, you're getting up at 5 o'clock. You're practicing before, you're practicing after, your weekends are gymnastics. And I really wanted to have friends. So I moved on to more of like a cheerleading dance route, competition that way, still being able to incorporate my gymnastics. And that stayed with me, through college. And I ended up going to CCM for musical theater, even on to my first Broadway show that I thought would be a really good idea if I told them that I did gymnastics. And they were like, great. I was like, I can, 21, so excited. And then I ended up having to do gymnastics in a show, 8 shows a week, like down like a metal rake stage towards an orchestra pit that was open. I was like, never telling anyone again that I do gymnastics, because I will end up having to do it every single day. But yeah, I think that gymnastics in general is just, you have to be very disciplined to do it, and you have to love it because it's a lot of work. And I do feel like sports like that are lifelong kind of lessons that you've learned. I still love to work out. I still, appreciate the fact that I can still bend my body in certain ways. I can still do some gymnastics. And so it's stuck with me. And my parents never pushed me. It really was something internal that like I wanted to do, which I think also when you're like finding your sport when you're young, it should be something that you're like, if you're going to do all that work, you better enjoy it. So yeah, I still can do it. I still like, I like to throw in a little gymnastics trick for my kids when the friends are over, show them I still got it.
I love it.
I do have a party trick that I do at shows. When I first start, if someone is standing there, I make them stand there, and then they go, what are you going to do? I go, just put your hands down and don't move. And they're like, okay. And then if anybody knows what I do, they go, no, just let her do it. Just let her do it. And I do a trick. I tell them, keep your eyes open and don't move your hands. And then I do a fan kick over their head. And the tallest person I've done is 6'7". That's my guy. So, it's still in there.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Keeps you young.
Yeah. And do you think having that skill was I know you ended up having to do gymnastics on that Broadway show, but did that give you like the leg up over the other competition to get you that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course. You want the job, right? You're like, I'll do anything. We always say, actors, we say the best part of acting is getting the job, like when you actually get it. And then you're like, oh, wait, I have to do it. Oh, there's that. Yeah, of course. I mean, you still, even when I was doing Black Lightning, the audition was like, do your scenes and then do like, 30 seconds of kind of taekwondo-y, whatever you can kind of do to show us that you can move. And I was like, oh, okay, I can still do a back handspring. I can still kick my leg. So we ended up incorporating a lot of that and being able to do, backflips and harnesses and things that I didn't have to worry about getting a stunt double to do. Because there are some amazing stunt doubles. I mean, amazing, but they're not always available. They may not look like you, so it's hard to match. So it's just, in my opinion, if I can do it, I'd rather just do it myself.
Did that begin? I had read that it started when you were on Major Crimes. Is that true? And you said, no, I'm going to drive this car. I can do this.
Yeah. I
And
mean, they let me. They were gung ho about like, if you do the training and, you kind of have someone to show you the ropes, we trust you to do it. And so they did. I learned how to stunt drive. I had an ex-Navy SEAL come in and teach me, everything I needed to know about guns and how to hold them and, what to do, what not to do, safety. And yeah, for the most part, I did not have one stunt double. I got to do everything myself. It was pretty awesome, I have to say.
yeah, I mean, and everybody loves your Amy Sykes. I mean, that role, like, yeah, I mean, how empowering or how strong did you feel like getting to play that role?
You really like embody that character. You can. I mean, for me, as soon as I put on my suit and you holster a gun to yourself and you've got a belt on and you've got all this gear and you're barging through a door to save someone's life. Obviously you're playing a character, but it is impossible to not feel the adrenaline rush of some part of that being a reality. Do you know? So yeah, getting to do that every single day. And, as you know, if you watched it, we did every scene together. There was very rarely, even in the squad room or when we were out on a case, we were all kind of together. So we rarely had days off. We were always, you know, punching in doors together, sitting in the squad room together, interrogating people together. So we were just a really fun, dysfunctional family. But yeah, it was pretty exciting. I mean, and also, I mean, the guys all know this. I was like the youngest one on the show. So anytime there was running, they were like, yeah, just like make Kieran do it. She'll run. And then we'll just catch up behind her, just like, yeah, go, go, go. It's totally fine. They had no problem with me kind of being like the young gun stunt person. So they all enjoyed it and they were all great sports about it.
Yeah. What were some of your, I mean, like you said, you got to do the gun training, the Navy SEAL training. What were some of your favorite things that you got to discover and do during that training?
Oh gosh. Well, Mark Simos, the guy that trained me, was just a breath of knowledge. So I mean, guns right now are just a really a touchy subject. So I don't want to go too much in it. But also, these are people that, Amy's character was an ex-military officer. So she wasn't just out there wielding guns for fun. This character really had a purpose, and her purpose was to serve and protect, which is what we hope that our police officers can do. So he really just taught me to respect it, right? To make sure that I treated it, as like a baby with respect, that I, always pointed it down. I never pointed it towards myself. We didn't play with them. They weren't ever just like, willy-nilly around set. They were always checked and chamber checked and put away and kind of handled like they were actually real weapons, which they were not. They're all fakes and they're blanks and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, we learned a lot to have to respect that. And I really appreciated it as someone who grew up on a farm with, we hunted and stuff as children. But we don't have guns now. It was just something that I really appreciated and that we all appreciated as a set. So that was, I mean, it's fun to duck and hide and yell clear into a room. I mean, it really it fills you with like this adrenaline rush that is fake, but has a little bit of reality in it. So
Well, and then you also, I mean, playing a superhero, being on Black Lightning and then, knife fights and more stunts there. I mean, it's pretty awesome to be able to be in that kind of a
it's
role.
so funny. My daughter just started watching it last night and she's like, Mom, this is so weird. Because I always said I wanted to be a superhero. And then, like, you got to be real specific because then I ended up playing a super villain, which, kind of, they blurred the line. But man, I got to say, that was the most fun. Being evil is fun. I was such a goody on Major Crimes, and then I was doing The Resident at the same time, and it was so buttoned up, and so to like put on like leather and have this crazy hair and these like magical knives. I mean, it was pretty spectacular. I loved every single second of it.
Yeah, I heard you talking about the wardrobe there. Those were actual like the costume with Spanx. Those are Spanx made
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. The pants are like these like crazy faux leather Spanx. And then they put like I had like a leather like harness thing on right here. And I have had two children, so my boobs aren't what they used to be, but they did their magic up here. And I felt so badass. It was awesome. I mean, I do work out a lot. So it was fun to be able to show the work that you do behind the scenes on camera. I was very excited for that.
Awesome. What are your go-to workouts?
Oh, well, I did spinning for a really, really long time. And I still enjoy it. I started doing it because funny enough, the one time I hurt myself during Major Crimes, I wasn't doing anything exciting. I was in the back of like a van moving, like placing a camera, and the van hit a bump and my knee dislocated.
Oh,
So I ended up having knee surgery after the first season. And I didn't want anyone to know because I was so nervous that it's my first big TV show. I thought, oh no, they're gonna fire me if they know that I'm hurt. So I was like, really, nobody knew. I just stayed incognito for 2 months during the off season. But I ended up having a tumor behind my kneecap that had to be shaved, removed. It was a full like life force. It had blood and things and veins, and so they took it all out, but they also took some of my cartilage out of my knee. And so my rehab was biking and spinning, and then I just got like absolutely obsessed with it and was like a Soul Cycle, crazy person forever. Um Honestly up until COVID, and then I ended up getting a Peloton, but I still love spinning. I think it's a great low impact workout. I started doing some Tracy Anderson, which I really think is fun. I think for this age and like just moving my body, I like the kind of dance aspect of it. It feels full body every time. I like to sweat. Um, and then I do weights on my own. I feel like past 40, you got to add some protein and some weights in. So I have a set right here actually of just like the ones that you can change the weight magnetically, and I just get those out and do some weights. And I love hot 8 yoga, like just to bring it all down and kind of stretch out and stay limber. I like to mix it up. I get bored really easily. If I feel like I can teach the class, I don't need to be there. I'm very much that person. I mean, I've danced my whole life, done gymnastics my whole life. I'm like, I want it to almost kill me. I want to like go to the brink of death. And then I'm like, that was great. So,
totally get it.
you
Those
know,
next day, a little bit of a pain is
oh
always.
yeah. No, I know. I have two of my really good friends are both teachers, Isaac Boots and Marlene Ortiz, and they both are trainers, and they almost kill me every time, like just to the brink of death. And I'm like, that's why I love you. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Love your athletic spirit and that strength. How do you bring that into your profession and your career?
I think, this career is fun as an art, right? It's an art. We love it. That part is just it fills your soul, and there's nothing like it. And if you do it, and that's what you do, that's what you do. But there's also a side of it that's a business, right? It's just it is what it is, right? Whether you like it or not, you have to be specific. You have to do the work. It can be really challenging. There's a lot of no's, and you have to kind of forge ahead as if it's just a job and a business and an industry sometimes. And I think that can get tricky when you bring in the love part. It's like a relationship, right? It takes a lot of work, and some people just want to be in the love part, but it actually takes that. And I think that like the discipline that you have for, let's say, gymnastics or just training or getting up every day, it takes the same kind of discipline for acting. You have to you got to get up, you got to make the connections, you have to do the memorization, maybe you need a coach, you have to be honest with yourself every single day to be successful at it. You have to tell yourself the truth, and that can be really hard, it really can. So, because you're the only one that's sitting there usually telling yourself that, your agents will kind of help you, your managers will kind of help you, but really you're the one that has to be honest. So, I feel like, yeah, those two go hand in hand.
What are some of the keys that you found like that work for you or that have helped you maintain like longevity in the crazy industry as well?
Man, like, I don't know, am I? um, gosh, it's like when you read my bio in the beginning, it's weird to hear it out loud because I don't even think about it like that. I've, even though I have been doing it, I guess, for so long, I think as an actor, you only think about the time in between when you're not working and you stress about it and you know what I mean? You forget all the times that you do work. But I think what's really just kept me in it is kind of what I just said. I get up, I do the work, I constantly, meet with your people, talk to your agents, do the research of what's out there, make the connections. No one's going to sit, when you're sitting at home and just call you every day and say, here's a job. That's not my career, at least. There are people that I'm happy for them that happens, but that's not mine. I really have to go, oh my God, did you see this? I want to go in for this. Oh, I met this person at this event and they're doing this, they're casting this. I'd love to go in for this. So those things, like, I do still do. I do that part, the behind the scenes work, I think is really, really important. Every now and then I'll work with someone and then a year later I'll get a call. Hey, do you want to do like an episode on this? Oh my God, that means, oh, okay, they liked what I did. I kept that relationship. I made that connection. My work was solid and they're willing just to go, would you like to come and do this? And that is like the ultimate, like it validates everything that you're doing. And so that happens very, very infrequently. But again, it's from making those relationships, doing the work, being wonderful to work with. I see it every day. There are people that you're like, oof. And then you don't want to be that person, right? That's a perfect way to learn how not to be on set. So I try to do all those things and hope that it works and, know that you're changing, your body changes, your lifestyle changes. I have 2 teenage children, what I would take has changed. Like, I would never personally want my kids to see me having sexual scenes on TV. And even more so, I would be very uncomfortable with their friends seeing me and then going, I saw your mom. Like that is, so I've had to really rethink certain things that I'm like, ooh, would I do that? I don't think I would. And that's just me. I think you do whatever you want to do. But for me personally, it's changed just the roles that I've looked at and things that I would accept or not accept.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about your journey, because you originally had different plans and you were going to be an OBGYN. So tell me how this shifted.
Oh man. So yeah, no, I was going to be a doctor. I was like dead set on that was my plan. I wanted to deliver babies. I was going to go to Rice. And that's what I was going to do, live in Texas. And my senior year of high school, my dad moved to Indonesia. And I'm sorry, my dad moved to Venezuela. They moved to Indonesia later. And we were all going to go. And I was like, well, I'm not moving my senior year. And I said, well, if I get into HSPVA, which is in Houston, the High School for Performing and Visual Arts, I said, if I get in, Mom and I are going to live downtown and I'm going to go to school there and you can go do that and come back and visit. And he's like, okay, cool. Well, I got it. And my mom and I got a little place down close to HSPVA, and I went to HSPVA my senior year as a dancer. And I still thought, okay, I'm going to finish out. I'll go to Rice, And my senior year, they did like a senior showcase, and Richard Hess, who is the head of the drama department for CCM, came, and we just did some little performances around school. And he was like, do you know you can do this like as a career? And I was like, no, I'm gonna be a doctor. Like, what do you mean? He's like, will you just consider coming and auditioning in Atlanta? And I was like, okay, fine. So I went, my mom and we had some family in Atlanta, went to Atlanta, auditioned for CCM, and I got in. And I was like, and then I started doing research of like musical theater and schools. And I was like, oh, this is like a really good place, I guess. Like, this is like really hard to get in. I guess I should try this out. And my parents were like, go for it. If it doesn't work out, give it a year. If it doesn't work out, just come back and you start here. And the rest is history. I went there. I found my people. There was only, my graduating class was 12. I was like, where has this been all my life? And I can't imagine doing anything else. I mean, I just fell absolutely madly in love with it. We graduated 4 years later and moved to New York, started doing Broadway. And, my parents were always like, if it doesn't work out, you can always, and it just kept working out. So, so here I am.
Yeah. And then you've had some incredible work on Broadway as well, and experiences and working with people like Christina Applegate. Like, yeah.
Gosh, she's just
Jackman.
lovely.
Tell me about some of those memories.
Oh my gosh. I mean, lucky me, right? I just, I almost could cry just thinking about my Broadway career was just magical. I mean, yeah, I got to work with Christina on Sweet Charity. I played her best friend Helene. And man, she was just a powerful force and the sweetest, kindest, most talent, just amazing. And then yes, I got to work with Huey. He is, I know, like people go, is he really that great? I'm like, yes, girl, he really is that great. He really is that great. I mean, the guy is just like, those people you meet in life that you go, you can't be that nice. He is just that nice. He will come into a theater and, when you first get, there are 150 people working there. There's like crew, there's makeup, there's hair. Within 1 week, his goal in every show is to memorize everyone's name because he never wants to look at you in the face and go, hey, he does it. He does it. He makes it his job. He comes in every Friday with lotto tickets for everyone to scratch off together. He donates hundreds of thousands of dollars through, his work for BCFA. He's just a magical person. He really is. My daughter, when she was really little, came to see the show, and the seat she was supposed to be in, they ended up taking the chairs out to make room for wheelchairs. And so they put her up in one of the boxes, and he has to come out in that box as Peter Allen for the second act in full gold lame. And he went up to her early, before the show. He said, Jordan, I'm not gonna come out as Hugh. I'm gonna come out as Peter Allen. And Peter is very fun, and Peter loves gold lame, so don't be scared of Peter. And then he proceeded to put me next to him for the entire show because he wanted to make sure that Jordan could see her mommy from the box and didn't want her to miss 1 second of me if I was in a different part of the stage. I mean, he's just, you can't even put it into words how wonderful he is.
Oh, that's so great to hear. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's so many, but yeah, those are definitely ones that stand out for me for sure.
And talk about the, because everybody thinks, oh, we're going to, show. It's so fun, for the audience, but it's grueling, a hard schedule for the actors. Kind of talk about your schedule and how you got through that.
Yeah, no, it's, it's funny. I haven't done that schedule in so long. And so the thought of going back to something like that, I'm like, I don't know. We used to make fun of the TV people because they would come from TV and try to do Broadway, and they would be like, they'd call out every weekend and be like, I just can't do this, because it is a muscle. It is a muscle to, like, when most people are trying to go to bed, we're like in the middle of the second act. You know what I mean? Like, to start a show at 8 o'clock or 7:30 every single night is just, it is a lot. And once you have kids, it's a lot, my thing was like, I always wanted to go to brunch, and you can't go to brunch because you have a Sunday matinee. You've got a Saturday matinee, a Sunday matinee. It's just part of the job. But there is something like beautiful about heading down the street at 6 o'clock or 6:30 to get to your call time, and you see everybody that's on Broadway, and we're all walking to our shows, and we're all, like, cool, you want to grab drinks after, a dinner after. It is like a really wonderful club that you're in, and you're all in the same boat together, and you are really close with everyone on Broadway. It's a very, very, very small community. And so that part of it, when you're sharing dressing rooms and you're up there and you're living your lives, I'm still so close with my Tarzan cast. They were there when I got engaged. They went to my wedding. They saw my children be born. There's no other place like it. So it's pretty special.
Well, now that you're not doing that schedule, you have a little more time for some other interests. So tell me about, I know you're loving to travel and cook. Tell me about these other things that you have passion.
Oh, I love cooking. It is one of my favorite things to do. I grew up in a very, food-based Southern family. Both my parents cooked, my brothers cook. It's just what we do. So yeah, I try to bring some of our old traditions. My father's Cajun. My parents are both from Louisiana. So I do make gumbo and crawfish etouffee and jambalaya and things like that. My kids really enjoy, and so does my husband, kind of that kind of cooking and just keeping those like traditions alive. But I love all of it. I've had like a little sinus infection. So but I have been like, I'm like, what am I going to make this week when I get back in the kitchen? I'm so excited. It's like therapeutic for me. You're just, nobody comes in there when I'm in there. I just, I'm in my zone. I put the things together. I know that it's going to taste good. There's no like, I don't question myself in the kitchen, I would say, like I do maybe in other parts of my life. I know that I'm good at it. I know it's going to taste good. I know my family's going to like it. And I love watching them eat afterwards. So I host a lot of fun parties and things. So yeah, I love that. And yes, I love travel. I mean, man, if I could go somewhere every week, I would. And this summer we're going to Japan for 2 weeks for the first time.
Nice. What are you going to do? What's on your hit list?
Oh gosh. So we're doing Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka. We are doing Hiroshima. We're doing Mount Fuji. We're doing the team lab in Kyoto. I mean, in Tokyo. We're hitting like, we're going to a traditional onsen outside of Osaka, all the major temples. I mean, we've got an itinerary a mile long. So I'm really, really excited for that. And yeah, we're just trying to take our kids a lot of places before they're off to college. I mean, my oldest is in high school now, and there's only, a couple more years where it's not going to be focused on college and things and internships and blah, 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 blah. So, and I feel like now they can actually enjoy it. We can get on a long plane ride and they're fine. I'm not dealing with like screaming toddlers or anything. So we waited till they were a little bit older to do Europe and places like that. So yeah, my bucket list is I haven't been to Greece. I'm dying to go to Greece. So
I've been to Crete last year and I highly recommend it. It was so gorgeous. There's a great hike you can do, the long trail. Oh, food is excellent. People are nice. So yes.
It looks amazing. So it's on my list next year.
No, I know you get out with your family a lot and your girls. So what does nature mean to you and being able to explore in the outdoors and have that time together?
It's, with everything going on in the world today, it's our sounding like safe place. Even if we're just sitting outside and we're, enjoying a day of unplugging, no phones, grab a book, sit by the pool, whatever. Or it's go for a walk, or our favorite thing to do is go down to the beach and we take the dog, and we go for a walk. Every now and then we'll hop on the pier and ride a ride just for fun. But for us, it's really about our kids connecting to us. We realize that digital age is a thing and I get it, but our kids don't have social media. They never will. It's not even a question in our house. And actually our kids finally, it's funny, at this age, they're realizing that like, it's kind of not great. Like they're like, wait a minute, like I see it cause so many problems. Maybe my parents are, oh my God, maybe they're right. Like for once. So, yeah, I feel like those times when we're doing that, or, we go to the Ren Fair, we still go to, we go to the iPic movie and sit on the weekends. We go to the Pasadena Antique Mall and go antiquing. Like we really try to like fill their days. My parents used to say idle hands, the devil's work. So we just try to keep them busy and keep ourselves included. And they have great social lives and wonderful friends and things like that. But we do feel like adding in those times of kind of just reconnecting and taking a simple walk or things like that are really important for their mental health and for ours too. So
very important. Well, before I let you go today, let me ask you, with your experience and what you've been through on your journey, what advice do you have for people who, want to be actors as well, or kind of follow in your footsteps?
Oh, gosh. It's so hard. The thing about it is no one's path is going to be your path, my path, his path. So find your own and just stick with it. And success is only measured by yourself. So it can't be measured by, well, they did this, so that's what I'm going to do. Your success has to be what you think success is. And as an actor, that can mean so many things. There's so many options right now. There's so much TV, so much film, so much theater. So whatever you find that makes you feel like you've checked that box of what your path is, just stick with it, stay on it, and don't deviate from the path, because it's there for you. One of the most just heart-filling things is when I see an actor on TV that was like a background actor on Major Crimes, or they had like one small scene and now they're starring in a show, which I've seen, I can't tell you, 10, 15 times I've seen. And I'm like, that person knew their path from the start and was on it and followed their goals. And look, they're like, holy moly, it's amazing. It just makes me like, it's icing on the cake.
Yeah. And how do you stay with it? Like when you have the times when maybe the work isn't coming, or there's, or when doubt creeps in, what gets you through those kinds of feelings?
It's bound to happen. I think you just have to be ready for it. Like I prepared myself. I knew that like there's an age, right? I'm 41. I don't always seem 41. I don't always seem 20. I don't always seem 30. I don't always seem 50. There's going to become, it's so funny because when I was doing Major Crimes, G.W. Bailey, who's in his 70s now, at the time, he was like, he used to always give us little pieces of advice. He said, there's going to be a time when you're not going to work for a couple of years, and it's going to be horrible. And you're going to pass by every rider truck that's parked in a street where all these people are getting jobs. And he goes, and it's going to be you, but you need to know it's coming, and you can't let those moments, don't sit in them. It's going to happen. So just prep yourself. And so they do, they happen. You have to let them wash over you. You really do. It happens for the most famous of actor. What you see on social media is a glimpse. It's spotlights of all the highlight reels. It's not the behind the scenes of every single one of us reading for 6 different things, or not getting whatever we want, or testing and not, a lot of people don't put that stuff out there, but it's happening to all of us. So as long as you know that, just prepare yourself for it. It's going to happen, and it's okay. It's okay.
Those are great words of advice. Thank you. Well, that's about it for us today. I could talk to you for hours.
Oh, me too. Wait, I have to say one more thing about, I have to say one quick story about Walker. And I think tonight's episode, so funny enough. So Odette, who's on the show, who plays Jerry, she and I used to be neighbors. When we first moved to LA, I had moved, my husband and I and our 2 kids, we had like a barely 2-year-old and a barely like almost 4-year-old. And if you have kids, you know that like sleeping is very important. Naps are really important. And she and Dave were like newlyweds with their party house. And they used to have all these famous people over every single night and have these like insane parties, insane, like where I'd like go and knock and be like, excuse me, can you like please like turn it down just a little bit? My babies are sleeping. And she'd be like, oh yeah, we're so sorry. So sorry. Anyway, it got like, they were like raucous parties. Finally, like one time we actually called the cops. I was like, you guys have got to calm down. Cut to, they have a baby. She comes over and she's like, I'm so sorry. We had no idea like how hard it is to like put them to sleep and like be parents. We're so sorry. They sent us over a cookie basket, like hilarious, right? So we end up moving, blah, blah, blah. We live in a different area. They moved. Now they live in Texas. And now I get Walker. And now we're working together. And now we play like besties on the show. And actually this episode that's airing tonight, I think we go to the spa together, or we do whatever. And it's just so funny because we both tell that story, because she's like, oh yeah, I remember when I was like an asshole neighbor. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. But anyway, and now we're working together, and we just think it's the most funny thing.
That's amazing how that came from.
Oh, I know. Isn't that so funny? And now she's got 2 kids and she's like, oh my God, I don't know how you like did. I know how you did it. But anyway. Small world, small little circle there. I always think it's a funny thing.
Well, on that note, tell everybody
note,
how they can get the last of Walker and get their fix in, and where else they can keep following you and see follow your career.
Got it. Yes. So CW Thursdays at 9:00. You can watch The Walker. It also is on HBO Max, and you can go back and watch other episodes on the CW app or CW online. And you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook, but really Instagram, Kieran Giovanni. I'm pretty active on there, and then I'm not. So, but I hope you guys enjoy the show. There's a lot of fun stuff coming up. Tonight's episode is so much fun. You will get a kick out of it. And then there's a large, big to-do happening at the end. So you'll have to stay tuned for that.
Oh, awesome. Well, can't wait to watch it tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate you getting up early and doing this with me. So you're just a joy to talk to, and it's just such an amazing, inspirational, person.
Thank you so much. This is so great. I really enjoyed it. So.
Well, thank you guys all so much for watching. You can listen everywhere we're on, everywhere you get your podcast. Go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and we'll see you here again next week. Have a great one. Bye-bye.